Good afternoon, Mrs. June and my fellow classmates. My name is Olivia binti Felix. My metric number is 71262. My thesis title is Film Technique Used in Horror Film Production. So, I'm going to explain a bit about research findings, as well as limitation, contribution to a new knowledge as well, and lastly, future research. So, let's go for it. First of all, cinematography including camera close-up plays the major part in any horror films because I found out that horror directors using this method to capture zoom in the ghost face or expression. Editing also plays for the important part in horror industry films because of the props including background, transition and sound effects are required editing so that these elements can be applied in any horror film production. Talking about sound, creepy sound is more preferred because it can create goosebumps to audience who are hearing the audio. As for the body language, could be a part in horror film production too, as the physical behavior allows them to do the creepiest facial expression of the ghost character, as well as shocking posture or facial expression of the character including protagonist character. For the audience part, horror movies usually cause strong feeling of fear and shock or the frightening and shocking character of something. Obviously, people go to horror films because they want to be more frightened or they won't do it twice. You yourself as an audience choose the horror film as your entertainment because you want it to affect you, right? So the typical target audience for horror film is the group of 50 to 24 years old and most of them are males. Meanwhile, I found out that most horror films are not recommended for all adults and young children because of the disturbing image in any horror films. Might can cause heart attack for those who had a weak heart and also traumatizing the young children. For example, they are crying while watching the horror films. As for the limitation, at first I decided to include a research about the characteristic of the character in the horror film, but it might take some time for me to dive it into more. So I decided to remove it and focus on film production instead of characteristic of the character. For the contribution of new knowledge, since we live in an era with the access of the technology, so with the help of the software such as After Effects and Premiere Pro will help the directors to create great editing and better quality camera shots to make a powerful horror film, as well as creating horror film in 2D or 2D animation. In the meantime, they should produce horror movies that can be watched in general, so that is why horror comedy comes and play a part in horror movie too. As for the future research, the film technique used in horror film can be discovered more if the director or animators able to master their understanding in film production. Also, with the help of advanced technology allows them to create a powerful horror movie production. So that's all for me. Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching.